Here are 11 trending and rising projects on GitHub right now. Claude Howto is a hands-on guide for learning Claude Code fast, with visual lessons and copy-paste templates that help you go from basic prompts to multi-step agent workflows. The useful bit is that it doesn't stop at concepts. It walks you through hooks, skills, and MCP servers in a way that maps to actual setup decisions. That makes it feel less like documentation and more like a playbook for building your own repeatable coding assistant. Claude Code Best Practice is a playbook for getting better results out of Claude when you're using it like a coding partner. Instead of one magic prompt, it lays out repeatable patterns, how to break work into stages, when to hand off between commands and agents, and which workflows fit debugging versus shipping new features. The useful part is that it gets concrete fast, with orchestration examples and a big tips section you can actually borrow from. Superpowers gives coding agents a stricter software workflow, so they pause, clarify the goal, and pull the right skill before they start changing files. The useful bit is that it isn't tied to one assistant either. You can drop the same method into Claude Code, Cursor, Codex, OpenCode, or Gemini CLI and keep the behavior consistent. Then it gets pretty practical with install paths, a verification step, and a bundle of reusable skills and initial instructions. Khoj gives you one place to ask questions across your own notes and docs, live web results, and whichever model you already want to run. What makes it useful is that it doesn't stop at chat. You can wire in local or hosted models, set up agents, and schedule recurring tasks, so it starts acting more like a private research assistant than another prompt box. The self-hosted angle matters if your files are the whole point. Skills gives Codex a reusable toolbox for recurring engineering jobs, so instead of re-explaining a bug hunt or release note pass, you can call a prepared skill and get a tighter workflow. The useful part is how specific these are. Apple platform debugging, Swift UI and React performance work, code review, even diff review swarms where the AI is guided through a narrow task. That keeps the assistant grounded in one job at a time. PaddleOCR turns PDFs and document images into structured text your AI can actually work with. The useful part is that it doesn't stop at raw OCR. It can parse tables, forms, and layout, so you're keeping document structure instead of dumping a wall of text into an LLM. In practice, you can run it locally, push scans or screenshots through it, and get multilingual extraction across more than 100 languages. VibeVoice is a voice stack for turning speech into text, generating long multi-speaker narration, and handling lower latency streaming replies. What makes it useful in practice is that these are split into separate ASR, TTS, and streaming tracks, so you can pick the piece you need instead of buying into one giant demo. The long-form angle matters here, because keeping speaker turns and consistency over minutes of audio is usually where voice tools start to wobble. TimesFM forecasts time series data, like sales, traffic, or sensor readings from a pre-trained model, so you can feed in past values and get a future window without training from scratch. The workflow here is pretty direct. Install the package, load a checkpoint, pass in a sequence, and set how far ahead you want it to predict. That foundation model angle matters because it's meant to generalize across domains, but you're still working through code and fixed checkpoints, not a polished dashboard. Agent Lightning trains AI agents after they run, so you can improve a chatbot or tool using workflow without rewriting the whole app around a training stack. The pitch here is basically zero code change tuning. Let your agent do tasks, capture the trajectory, then optimize from that feedback loop while keeping the original framework in place. That's compelling if you've already got agents in LangChain, OpenAI Agents SDK, or something homegrown and don't want the training system dictating the product architecture. ChatDev is for turning a plain language idea into a working software project by having AI teammates split up the job. Instead of one chatbot doing everything, it assigns roles like planning, coding, and reviewing, then lets you run the setup locally, through Docker or in its zero-code app. That workflow is the part I like because the handoffs are visible enough to catch when one agent made a bad assumption before it snowballs into broken output. Coding Interview University gives you a structured computer science study path for software engineering interviews, basically turning a vague prep grind into a long, ordered syllabus. The workflow is simple but kind of brutal. Follow the sequence through data structures, algorithms, systems, and practice. Then use the job prep section when you're ready to switch from studying to applying. I like that it treats interview prep as months of deliberate repetition, not a quick list of leak code links. Subscribe to Build Things with AI for more GitHub AI tool roundups.